Let's welcome a leader who has redefined possibility by transforming obstacles into stepping stones and building bridges to prosperity. Born in Los Angeles and rising from humble beginnings, John Hope Bryant has dedicated his life to empowering communities, channeling over $4.2 billion in capital into places where hope once ran low. In addition to founding, chairing, and leading Operation Hope Incorporated as its CEO, he has also served as a trusted advisor to U.S. presidents, working across party lines to enshrine financial literacy as a national priority. His work has turned financial education into a powerful engine for personal and community empowerment. John Hope Bryant's vision is bold, yet practical. True leadership means creating opportunities for the next generation, inspiring them to dream bigger, work smarter, and lead with purpose. His words spark movements, his ideas reshape policies, and his relentless drive continues to light the way for aspiring leaders everywhere. A transformative force in economic empowerment and financial inclusion, John Hope Bryant.
John Hope Bryant, is so good to have you here on Motivation with Marissa.
Pleasure.
Yes, I've considered you a great motivator to me, to millions for many years. And just recently you went viral for a rousing speech that you gave at the Good Soil Forum. Tell me about the reaction you've received and how you even prep for moments like that.
How do I prep for the speech itself or for
for the speech?
Oh, I don't.
And telling people the message that they need for, a time as this.
Yeah. I don't prep for speeches. It sort of freaks out typically the organizing group that it didn't freak out Bishop T.D. Jakes. He lives by faith. He lives on faith. I mean, literally is the Black Pope. His whole life is built on faith and confidence, and he trusts me. But his people around him are planners. They're organized. Well, he's a planner too, and so they want things certain way. And I'm sure I looked Californian. I looked, like I was from the West Coast. I was just very relaxed, and I really didn't have much other, I didn't really know what I was going to say before I went out to the stage. I had to read the audience. I had to go out. I had to feel, see, and be energized by what I thought they needed to hear, what they were receptive to receive. And then I decided what I wanted to pour into them. Now, the thing that had me on 10 when I walked out was I love Bishop T.D. Jakes. I think he's amazing. I grew up admiring him, so we're now great friends. But I grew up, in fact, I'm now great friends with at least two people I admire, which was Ambassador Andrew Young, as you know, who is 93 years young and vibrant as all get up. Still gets on planes to go give speeches, all that stuff. And Bishop T.D. Jakes are two of these people. Quincy Jones, he's passed on to glory, was another person I admired that I became great friends with. So I didn't like how society rewarded him for all of his selfless giving. I didn't like how Black America, some in Black America treated him. It frankly irritated me. It's hard to upset me, but I was actually upset and irritated. And it doesn't bother him, but it bothered me. And so I saw it happen to Oprah too, who was on the same program. I'm like, okay, now this is ridiculous. If it's happening to Oprah Winfrey, the only lady I know who you can around the world is known by one name, came from nothing, and she's known by one name in the world, and she's a fabulous human being. I mean, she just really is the real deal. If you messing with Oprah, we're really in trouble. I mean, why are you picking? Nobody's perfect. Right? But if Black folks, some are picking on Oprah, we really need to go get some therapy. We need some church. We need to. So I wanted to give him everything I had at that forum. And because it was not strictly a spiritual forum, it wasn't his church, it wasn't the Potter's house, I could open up a little bit more. He was teaching people to be business people. In an ethical way. And so I came up with this thing sort of on the fly as I was speaking, of a Bible in one hand and a business plan in the other. And I just kept saying that to pound it into the audience as something they could rinse, repeat, reflect, and remember. and that two things can be true at the same time. That money's not bad. It's the love of money that's bad, right? That if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, how can I feel good about you? If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And if I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm going to make your life a living hell. Whatever goes around comes around. Dr. King had this quote. He would say that evil and fear and hate cannot self-organize because it has within it the seeds of its own destruction. So I was trying to say to people, Bishop T.D. Jakes is going to be just fine. Don't you see what he's built? He could drop the mic right now and go retire, right? Say, bunk all this if he wanted to. He doesn't. By the way, thank him for continuing to lean in. But you all trying to make it. And you need him. You need a him. You need a her, and Oprah. You need heroes and sheroes you can look up to. Look, we talked bad about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he was alive. His so-called friends, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., whoever you admire, Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, whoever you admire, Dr. Dorothy Height, who I knew and loved, Coretta Scott King, they all had their haters. They all had their critics. People are professional, some critics. And I say, folks, I like what these folks are doing much better than what you're not doing, right? And because I'm not a pastor, Marissa, and because I'm not a man of the cloth, because I'm not a civil rights leader, I'm a businessman. I'm a capitalist with a heart. I'm a capitalist with a conscience. I can speak my mind, and because I'm relatively free, all money is freedom. I can say what I want, when I want, however I want, whomever I want. I don't have a congregation, and I'm not looking for a vote. So I decided to use whatever credibility I had to shine a light on the man who was up in, in his seat, literally up in his seat, to shine a light on him and his beautiful wife, and please say thank you. Please appreciate him in real time. Don't let him sit here and think that you're co-signing this craziness, and let him hear the roar of your voice, not when he's on stage. Let him hear the roar of your voice when he's sitting and chilling, so he can see the fruits of his labor and that you get it. And so my mission was, in 45 minutes, was to give them everything I had so they could be all that they could be. And I must say, it was one of the few times where it was a setup and a payoff that was unexpected. I walked out of there going, okay, that was a special moment. It wasn't me. It was everything in alignment. And I think it had a lot to do with the host, Bishop T.D. Jakes and Good Soil Forum, and how the authenticity with which they brought all of this together. It wasn't a game. And so as pieces of that have seeped out, there was a little clip that just came out recently this weekend that went viral. It's just a little clip of a 45-minute session, but I think the lights are on. Our people are so smart, Marissa. We're so smart. We've been doing so much with so little for so long. We can almost do anything with nothing. We're great at surviving. I want us to become brilliant at thriving and winning and building. But you got to get out of this depression. You got to get out of this self-hate, excuse me for saying this, self-hate. You got to get out of this feeling that we're not worthy because somebody has told you for 100, 200, 300 years that you're not. It was intentional to destroy our self-esteem. Our self-esteem, not our confidence is brilliant. I mean, look at you. I mean, Black people in America, 40 million of 1.7 billion people of color, Black people in the world. I mean, these 40 million, a fraction of the 40 million actually, have succeeded. I'll say all 40 million, relatively speaking, have succeeded beyond the wildest dreams of the other 1.3 billion in the world. We are the lighthouse. We are the role models. When we say it's cool, as I said at the Good Soil, when we say it's cool in Taipei.
That is so true.
Yeah, we say something's dull, it's dull in Russia. And so we master culture and creativity and cool. What I said is we got to now master capitalism and commerce, right? And community, and tie those things together right? And I believe we can do it, but not just Black Lives Matter, Black Capitalists Matter is what I said in the clip that went viral. So yeah, I don't prep. I do read the audience. It could flop because I don't prep. I'm sure it could flop, but it never has. And I think because authenticity works.
Yeah, I mean, you read the room, and I think also there was a thirst, and I know because I was there, for what you had to say, to the point where when you were done, we were all standing like, that's it, even though it was 45 minutes. We wanted more. And I also share with you the part where you talked about the eagle and how the eagle is different from other birds. That was when I broke down. So I kind of want my viewers to hear you go through that analogy here now.
Well, yeah. So to set it up, I'll just say that, and I said this then, if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. And there's an old Southern saying, no matter how much I love you, my son or my daughter, if I don't have wisdom, then all I can give you is my own ignorance. So out of love, we may pass down bad habits from generation to generation. It's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us, but we think we know. Because if no one's ever taught you what you need in order to succeed and win in this new world, then all you know is the lessons that were given to you by somebody who's won in the old world, or maybe in a parallel, narrow world where they were in a protected economy or protected universe when they were growing up. And they're giving that to you as a tool for you to succeed. And you absorb it because that's your parents or it's your uncle or whoever without questioning it. And all I'm saying is you can love somebody and they can be wrong on this topic. That doesn't mean you don't love them. That means 2 things can be true at the same time. And you got to have enough self-esteem. So I was saying that Black people have enormous confidence because we have succeeded in the biggest market economy in the world, the biggest economy in the world, U.S., against all odds, from the bottom to the President of the United States of America, from the bottom to multimillionaires and billionaires. But our self-esteem, because we never healed, because we never dealt with our drama and our trauma, we tend to have high confidence and lower self-esteem. Whereas those from the Caribbean and from Africa, I did this on my podcast, Money and Wealth. If somebody wants to go deeper on this, I spent an hour talking about this. They tend to have higher confidence and lower self-esteem. I'm sorry, they have higher self-esteem and lower confidence because slavery was not as brutal. It was families were kept together when they were enslaved or in the Caribbean and Latin America. Your children weren't scattered. Your wife stayed with you or your husband. They weren't brutal like that. You were allowed to go to church and the community. You were allowed to educate yourself, read. Over time, slavery or indentured servitude sort of wore down and wore off. And now you had prime ministers and doctors and lawyers and even the robbers, the crooks looked like you. So those who come from the Caribbean, Latin America, and Africa come to America with higher self-esteem, relatively speaking, but lower confidence because they did not succeed in the biggest market economy in the world. We tend to have higher confidence and lower self-esteem for reasons I've just described. So I said, in order to boost people up and get them to see who they can be and who they are, if you're at this conference, you've self-identified yourself as an eagle. There are 3 types of people like 3 types of birds. There are eagles, there are buzzards, and there are turkeys. And eagles don't fly in packs. You've never seen a flock of eagles. Now, eagles are high altitude birds. They're rare, they're unique. Now, somebody's going to say, oh, I've seen a flock. No, you haven't. You've seen some eagles that were hanging out, maybe in Alaska or somewhere, and for a very short period of time, they, were together. But they don't flock together. It's not their mindset. But again, if you're hanging around somebody who finds the outlier argument like that, you need to get away from them as soon as conceivably possible.
They're not an eagle.
They're not an eagle. Worse, I can't guarantee you that being going to be positive is going to make you a success, but I absolutely guarantee you that being negative is going to make you fail. So eagles don't fly in packs. Eagles are high altitude birds. Eagles are regal, like you, I might add. I said that to you offline, that you were an eagle. Eagles step over mess and not in it. Eagles don't rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. The ship is sinking. They're not picking drapes and chilling. flying, they're gone. Now, everybody wants to be an eagle. Not everybody can relate to it. And if they can't be it, they try to shoot at it sometimes because of their own insecurities. So the next kind of bird is a buzzard. And buzzards are low altitude birds. And buzzards love packs. Buzzards are always standing on your head, they elevate themselves. Player hating, never player congratulating. Always got something negative to say about somebody. So, why he up there talking? Because I'm giving a speech. That's why I'm talking, because I've achieved something. And you need to listen, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got the worst kind of bird. The worst kind of bird is a turkey. Because a turkey got wings and can't even fly. All they do is profile. Translation.
Exactly.
Trying to be something they are not. And then you have somebody who says, I've seen turkeys fly. See, there you go again. Turkeys can fly 30 feet, right? That's it. And they back on the ground. So knock it off. They got wings. They cannot fly. Flying is not their business. That's not the business that they're in. So that's why we probably end up on the dinner table once a year, because they can't fly, can't get away from folks with guns. Anyway, eagles, buzzards, and turkeys. And so it's a great way for you to look around you every day, coworkers, family members, friends, and you're not better than anybody else. You're just different. And so you need to differentiate yourself. You need to separate yourself. You need to get the toxicity out of your life. These folks may, out of love, hold you down. They think they're loving you as they're holding you down. But once again, in a blind town, a one-eyed man's king. If you don't know better, you cannot do better. You can't give me advice if you've not succeeded yourself. I'm sorry. If you're broke and toe up from the flow up, you can't give me advice on business or finance. If you're divorced and you're not married and you can't give me advice on relationships and marriage. If you're married, girlfriends, listen to this. If you are married and your girlfriends are single, be prepared for noise. And you need to differentiate what you want to process. When they start giving you advice about men and relationships, they're going to ruin your marriage. Now they may give you some advice in business or professions that might be applicable. You want to try to start part-time business, but you need to hang around people who are married. If you want people who are long-time married, if you want marriage advice. I mean, I've known my wife for 25 years. We just celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary of those 25 years. And thank you, Shatra. But I'll tell you a couple of things. One, my worst day with her is better than my best day with anybody else. That's when you know. Because I never thought about, I don't want to be with Shatra. Never. She's so amazing. It's just that she's a woman and I'm a man. And she called me a double alpha, by the way. Not just an alpha man, a double alpha. And she's a girl's girl. She is really, she's all love. So you're going to miss, because she's a woman's woman and I'm a man's man. I make the house, she turns it into a home, right? I'm all head, she's all heart, right? I'm the eagle, she's a butterfly. So you got to acknowledge that, right? So then you got to say something else, right? There's the difference between being married and being right. Those two things are different. So if you're hanging around some girlfriends, or your guys, and you're hanging around your guy friends, and your guy friends like, yo, man, you can't be putting up with all that, man. You can't. Okay, well, you don't understand what's up, right? You're stepping in the mess, not over it. Mm-hmm. You're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. You're cool in the games. You're not cool in the game. When the Titanic was going down, I'm told the band played all the way down. The joke in the black community is that was not cool in the game, because the cool in the game would have wrapped up those cords, right? Yeah. And bounce. Hey, look, it's been nice. I gotta get on this life raft. Right. So you get on your life raft, right? I want you to find the life raft. It may be only enough room for you, or a couple. Hey, you say a couple times, hey, come on over here. But if you say it 1, 2, 3 times to your friends, your family members, you try to encourage them. Hey, come, and they don't want to come. Let them be.
Yeah, some people don't want to be saved.
You can't take everybody with you. Hello.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, it's so true. And the sooner you realize that, the
The
better.
better.
You also talk a lot about personal financial responsibilities. So if you could throw out maybe three keys that anybody can start to just implement in their lives to end up in a better situation, what would those three be?
Oh, I'll go one step further. I'll make you a millionaire.
Mm,
I can make anybody a million. I'm sorry, you got to do it, but I can give you the formula for anybody listening or watching your show. And she's, by the way, Marissa is brilliant. You should tell all your friends to follow her on social, follow her show, watch it every week. She is a walking inspiration, and she is a role model for this generation. Um,
thank you.
my pleasure. Here's a very simple guidepost. This is what my mother did. My mother, Juanita Smith, and my dad, Johnny Will Smith. And people should read my book, Financial Literacy for All. It's still #1 18 months after its release. It's not, by the way, not #1 black book. Not, no, that would be great. Not #1 civil rights book. It's the #1 financial literacy book on business, economics, and finance in the country. Maybe the world. Is on Amazon. And read that book, listen to my podcast, Money and Wealth, every Thursday, new episodes for free. But here are the things my mother taught me, because my dad, and I tell the story of mom and dad in my book, dad owned businesses, plural, owned real estate, plural, with my mother, but he didn't realize that they were partners, and 2 + 2 in a relationship should equal 6, 8, or 10. So you're going to do better in a relationship. Doesn't mean you can't be successful solo, but you're going to be better and more fulfilled when you find the right person. Make sure they got a 700 credit score, by the way. You go to the
That
club.
part.
You go to the club this weekend, and oh, he's fine. Oh, she's so cute. Oh my God. What's your name? What's your name? What's your credit score? Because that's not, once the looks drop and the body drops,
Yep.
that's your business partner for the rest of your life. And if you're not better together, what are you doing? If 2 + 2 doesn't equal 6, 8, or 10, you can do bad all by yourself. You don't need help. So the first thing, either be alone, because Quincy Jones once told me the only thing worse than being alone is wishing that you were, and I can guarantee you that's true. I'd much rather be by myself than be irritated by somebody who's toxic and dragging me down. So relationship capital starts with you. So a giver and a giver is exotic. A giver and a taker is neurotic. And a taker and a taker is psychotic. So you shouldn't be takers, but if you are, now you know why nothing's working for you. You shouldn't be negative, but if you are, now you know why nothing is working for you. You know why nobody wants to hang around you. Everybody is like, oh my God, going in different directions. But most people are in these toxic relationships where it's neurotic. You're the giver. If you're listening to the show, if you're watching the show, you're probably a giver. But somehow you've allowed yourself, because of low self-esteem, because of childhood trauma, because of something, to get involved with somebody who's a taker. So you got to find a way to get out of that. You can do that all by yourself. And a giver is exotic. Now, you may have to be in a relationship with yourself first. In fact, I would argue if you're not in a relationship with yourself, you cannot be in a relationship with somebody else. So the first thing you got to do is you got to be good with you. Number 2, you got to get your credit score right. Get it above 700, because you're not black, you're not white, you're not Republican or Democrat, you're green. And once you get above 700 credit score, you're green. The computer at midnight doesn't know what race you are, doesn't know what gender you are, it doesn't care. That computer, robotics, data management, processing, and AI increasingly wants to know if you're a good credit risk, period. And so if you're above 700 and you're asking for less than $100,000 on a line of credit, on a mortgage, on a credit card, or whatever, a car loan, prime rates, the likelihood of you getting approved is very, very high. Now, credit score, self-esteem. Number 3, get a life insurance policy. Whole life would be great. I'll be comfortable if you do a term life policy. It's cheaper, but you just don't build equity in term life. But if you're a young person listening to this, watching this, you're in good health, you can get a $100,000 policy at $25 a month. You can get $1 million policy in good health for $100 a month. Why wouldn't you do that? You don't know how long you're going to live. You dang sure know you're going to die. So if you have children, if you have a mate that you love, if you have mother, father, whoever you want to hook up, get a will. Now you got a life insurance policy, get a will. Direct in that will where you want those resources upon your death to go. If you work for an employer that's responsible, you have a health policy. In that health policy is a death benefit of $25,000. Why are we doing GoFundMe campaigns to bury somebody? That's ridiculous to me. Do GoFundMe to go somewhere, to fund something that's aspirational. Don't do a GoFundMe. That's embarrassing to put somebody into the ground. You're working backwards. Again, that's not what he was designed for, right? It's not the modern version of pass the hat, right? So, so use your death benefits, financial literacy in your health policy to, God forbid, bury those you love when they pass on. Or when they pass on, go to their employer and ask for that death policy. The next thing I want you to do is to buy a house. 44% of Black folks own a home compared to 75% of our mainstream counterparts. And the number one way you build wealth in America is home ownership. The entire tax code is really designed to encourage and support home owners. If you pay a mortgage for 30 years, 20 years of that 30 years is basically written off against mortgage payments. Mortgage interest is 20 to 30 years. You write them off for your taxes. So what you paid in the taxes or what you owe in taxes, you get back in a mortgage deduction. You don't get that if you're renting. I'm one of the biggest landlords in America. At least I have been up until recently. I sold the company, but I own 700 homes. My mother owned seven homes. Her mother owned one. I own 700. And so I want you to rent for a time, but I want you to go from rent to own. And so you should become a homeowner. The appreciation is all yours. The depreciation you can write off in certain conditions. The interest payments you write off. It is a beautiful system, and land will appreciate in your sleep. You make money during the day, you build wealth in your sleep. Then in 3 years, take the equity from that you built up in that house, get a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Do not sell that house. Get a home equity line of credit with your prime 700 plus credit score. It's going to be very cheap. And use that to buy a house hood adjacent. Nothing, no mini mansions, nothing fancy. Buy it near roads, in commerce, in economic energy, transportation. Buy hood adjacent, the worst house on the best block, right? Buy it, rehab it, and rent it. Okay, I think that took me 3-5 minutes. And I'll give you a bonus. Give you a bonus. You'll be a millionaire. Give you a bonus. If you listen to this, you go, well, I don't have the down payment. Okay, 2 things. Go, if you make less than $65,000 a year, the federal government owes you something called the Earned Income Tax Credit. If you're listening to this, you make 40, or anybody in your family, because you can collaborate with them, who makes $40,000 a year, they have 3 children. Government owes you, in that example, about $7,000 cash. It's called the EITC, Earned Income Tax Credit. And if you've never filed, it's retroactive for 3 years. So that is almost 20 grand in that example. That could be a down payment on a 10%, on a $200,000 house, 20% on a $100,000 house. So there's that excuse out of the way, right? And there are other benefits my people at Operation Hope can help you find. Go get a Hope Financial coach at Operation Hope. They'll walk you through your options. And if you smoke cigarettes and go to Starbucks 3 times a week, you're probably spending $6,000 out of if you're making $36,000 a year, that's 20% of your income. That should wake everybody up.
Yes.
I'm gonna slow that down. If you're going to Starbucks 3 times a week and you smoke cigarettes, but the box says this crap will kill you, but that was not enough of a motivation to get you off of it. Hopefully this will wake you up. 20% of your income.
That's crazy.
Yes, crazy. So it's 2 ways to make money, Marissa. Make more or spend less. So we put you on a budget, right? We get you on a budget. All money is freedom. Once you have taken control of your money, you will feel free.
Fascinating. Thank you. I always end this segment with a question, and I'm going to ask you the same question, but I want to say I love how throughout the years your messages have remained the same, even though you seem to just flow so easily and effortlessly in social media. It's like the medium has changed, but your message hasn't. And I love that about you and how it resonates. So as you continue to motivate us, what keeps you motivated? I mean, you mentioned your faith, you mentioned your wife, family, but what is it, John, that keeps you going?
Us. Now, all of us, all of God's children, white, black, Asian, Indian, male, female, Republicans and Democrats. I mean, capitalism and democracy is a horrible system, except for every other system. I've been to 100 countries, and I love most of them. There are a couple I wouldn't go back to, but most of them I'd go repeatedly. And I love Africa. I mean, we got engaged in South Africa. I love Africa. But the only place that I would absolutely live full time is America. And I mean, I could live part of the time in Africa. I could live part of the time in Maui. I could live, I'm in Maui, still America. But the only place the only place I knew that I would be me is America, with all our warts, with all our problems, with all of the frustrations, and there are so many reasons to be frustrated about this crazy country we're in, particularly now. The divisiveness is driving me nuts. But God still sits on the throne. And we're still the light on the hill for the world. We're still the reserve currency for the world. We're still the biggest economy in the world. We're still the sole superpower in the world. We're still the place where every immigrant still wants to come if they feel comfortable that they will be safe when they get here. And immigrants built this country. Immigrants, migrants, those who got on the wrong bus, the wrong boat, by the way, us. We are a collection. I mean, other than Native American Indians, everybody's a dang on immigrant.
It's true.
And so this country is an experiment in freedom and democracy and hope and belief and well-being and collaboration and cooperation and constructive friction and obviously destructive friction, civil war. When we get it wrong, we go too far, you have the Civil War. You have the civil rights movement and the decade of assassinations in the 60s. But then every now and then not every now and then, that happens every now and then, but then we wake up and we realize we're better together. And I mean, the Black folks gave up everything for this country. I mean, literally built this country for free. The only folks enslaved on American soil gave up $21 trillion in income. We worked for free. Another $20 trillion in economic opportunity, $40+ trillion, gave it up. We were worth more than anything else in this country. And we gave it up, and we're not resentful about it. We're not trying to tear it down. We just want a piece of it. We want a participation of it. And that's inspiring to me. We just need to be let loose to go help build and grow. And then women, white women, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white women, saying this to make the point, in 1972 could not get a bank account, Marissa. In 1972 couldn't get a loan unless her husband co-signed it, Marissa. This is not 1872, 1972. And it's because of Black people and affirmative action, which the incoming political party after Johnson and Kennedy, Johnson, and Dr. King did all they did. It was a reaction to that, a blowback that brought in Nixon. And while Nixon codified affirmative action, the thought was, but not for Blacks. That's too much. They gave it to women, and particularly white women. By the way, I have no problem with that. I'm glad that white women, and then by extension, all women, succeeded. Women are now a third of the U.S. economy, Marissa. Women are now almost $8 trillion. Where would we be if we had not made the right bet on women in 1972? We'd be an also-ran country. We'd be a third world economy. We would be smaller than China. Now, I just thought about that just this moment. Actually, we'd be $7-8 trillion. We'd be the same size economy as China right now, but we're probably lower because that shows we backwards. So they're trying to move forward. We're moving backwards. It's like a little small town that it says to this day, I don't want you at a water fountain. I don't want you to go in this building. I don't want these programs. Well, that little small town in comparison to Atlanta that said we're gonna argue over the contract, not over what race you are. Atlanta is the 10th largest economy, as you know, in the U.S. Diversity won. Andrew Young built it in the only international city in the South, and it's the busiest airport in the world. We're better together. We're too busy to hate. So I like that Blacks and whites have found a way to find common ground. I like that half of that 20% of the folks who supported Dr. King were white and half of them were Jewish. I like that we're starting to figure out slowly that we need each other. I know it seems crazy to your audience to listen to when you say that right now in the current environment, but there's something in their gut listening to this. White, conservative male, listening to this, they know that division is not sustainable. The Bible says a house divided cannot stand. And there's not enough of anybody alone to succeed in this economy and continue to make us the biggest economy in the world. There are not enough white educated, college educated men alone to succeed. Diversity, the demographics are alone, say 40% of this country are black and brown, within 10% of majority of minorities. So my rich friends eat my poor friends do better if only to stay rich. The biggest economies in the country are cities. They tend to be Democratic. Okay, well, we need Republicans, we need Democrats. The Republicans, that's where the agriculture is. That's another industry. No one can exist on their own. I think God knew what he was doing. He took the biggest economy in the world, the sole superpower, and made it messy. He made it messy so that no one person, no one group could dominate it. And I think that Black people are a bit of the cultural moral pulse in the world. We love in spite of. We care in spite of. We forgive in spite of. We move forward in spite of. We believe in spite of. We have joy in spite of. We love everybody in spite of, not because of. That's, oh my God, that's just so inspiring.
Yeah.
And we are as a country a role model for the world. We just need to get out of our own way. Everybody wants to be an American, but American. So what gives me hope is that my whole mission is to unleash untapped human potential at scale. That's my mission for my holding company. I have 400 full-time employees. I have $100 million of annual cash flow through my entities. I've created 50 companies, 3 of the biggest in their categories in the country, and about to launch a 4th. And I'm now seeing a tipping point, Marissa. I was saying all that to say this: rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. It's actually a scientific fact. We've been here before. That's why I'm not discouraged by the current moment. We've had this is a 3rd reconstruction. And in the middle of every reconstruction, the start of it, within 2 years of it, there's pushback, blowback, and pullback. Pushback, blowback, and pullback. Civil War, Civil Rights Movement, and now what I call the civil rights movement, from the streets to the suites. And now it's just messy. We're trying to figure out, does hate work? No. Does division work? I don't think so. Does me alone work? Probably not. I mean, so once people get through all this stuff, frustration, you're gonna realize we figure this out, or we're gonna be speaking Mandarin in 25 years, as in Chinese, because they can't win in a fair fight. They can only win if we shoot each other in the foot, we get all messed up and trumbled up, we fall over each other, and America just implodes.
Yes.
That's what China, Russia, North Korea, Iran wants. They want us to implode. They can't win in a fair fight. And so unless we want that to succeed, we better learn, but white folks better learn to love Black folks. Black folks better learn to love some white folks. My DNA, I did a DNA test. My DNA is 71% Cameroon, African, 26% European, white. The rest is Asian, Indian, and other. So if I hate white people, I hate myself.
Yeah.
If I hate Latinos, 100%. I hate myself. Exactly. So I would encourage everybody. You want to have a good Christmas? A month before Christmas dinner, family dinner, send everybody a DNA test, particularly the racists in the family.
And watch their head explode.
Watch their head explode. Whether they're white racists or Black racists or Latino, send them a DNA test and have them open it at Christmas dinner.
Yep. Wow. Well, thank you so much. And I love what you said too about succeeding. And I was thinking, sometimes it's not in spite of, sometimes it's because of what you've gone through that you're able to, experience things differently. Thank you for your time.